Om Sai Ram. Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 12. This chapter covers the following: the experiences of Kaka Mahajani, Dhumal the pleader, Mrs. Nimonkar, Mule Shastri, and a doctor. Now, let us see in this chapter how devotees were received and treated by Baba, a saint's mission. We have seen before that the purpose of divine incarnation is to protect the good and destroy the wicked. But the mission of the saints is quite different. To them, the good and the wicked are the same. First, they feel for the evildoers and set them on the right path. They are like the Agasti to destroy the Bhavasagar, that is, the ocean of the worldly existence, or like the sun to the darkness of ignorance. God dwells in the saints. In fact, they are not different from Him. Our Sai is one of them, and he incarnated for the welfare of his devotees. Supreme in knowledge and surrounded by divine luster, he loved all beings equally. He was unattached. Foes, friends, kings, and paupers were the same to him. Hear about his powers. For the sake of his devotees, he spent his stock of merits and was always alert to help them. But the devotees could never approach him unless he meant to receive them. If their turn did not come, Baba did not remember them, and his leelas could not reach their ears. Then how could they think of seeing him? Some men desired to see Sai Baba, but they did not get an opportunity to receive his darshan before his Mahasamadhi, that is, abandoning his mortal form. There are many such persons whose desire for Baba's darshan was not thus satisfied. If these persons have true faith in him and listen to his leelas, their quest of milk, that is darshan, will be to a great extent satisfied by this buttermilk, that is Baba's leelas. If someone went there by sheer luck and received Baba's darshan, were they able to stay there longer than he wished? Nobody could go there for his own accord, and nobody could stay there longer than Baba wished. They could stay there only as long as Baba permitted them to stay, and had to leave the place when asked to do so by Baba. So everything depended on Baba's will. Kaka Mahajani. Once, Kaka Mahajani went to Shirdi from Bombay. He wanted to stay there for a week and enjoy the Gokulashtami festival. As soon as he received Baba's darshan, Baba asked him, "When are you going back home?" He was rather surprised at this question, but he had to answer. He said that he would go home when Baba ordered him to do so. Baba then said, "Go tomorrow." Baba's word was law and had to be obeyed. Kaka Mahajani therefore left Shirdi the next day. When he went to his office in Bombay, he found that his employer was anxiously waiting for him. The manager had suddenly fallen ill, and hence Kaka's presence was absolutely necessary. He had sent a letter to Kaka at Shirdi, which was redirected to him at Bombay. Bhau Sahib Dhumal, once Bhau Sahib Dhumal, a pleader, was going to Nifad for a case. On the way, he came to Shirdi, received Baba's darshan, and wanted to proceed to Nifad immediately. But Baba did not permit him to do so. Baba made him stay at Shirdi for more than a week. In the meanwhile, the magistrate at Nifad suffered from the intense pain in his abdomen, and thus the case was adjourned. Mr. Dhumal was then allowed to go and attend to his case. It went on for a few months and was tried by 4 magistrates. Ultimately, Mr. Dhumal won the case and his client was acquitted. Mrs. Nimonkar. Mr. Nana Sahib Nimonkar, Watandar of Nimon, and an honorary magistrate, was staying at Shirdi with his wife. Mr. and Mrs. Nimonkar spent most of their time in the masjid with Baba and served him. It so happened that their son fell ill at Belapur, and the mother decided with Baba's consent to go to Belapur and see her son and other relatives and stay there for a few days. But Nana Sahib asked her to return the very next day. The lady was in a fix and did not know what to do. But her guard, Sai, came to her assistance. While leaving Shirdi, she went to see Baba, who was standing in front of Sate's Wada with Mr. Nimonkar and a few others. She prostrated at his feet and asked for his permission to leave. Baba said to her, "Go quickly, be calm and unperturbed. Stay comfortably at Belapur for 4 days. See all your relatives and then return to Shirdi." How opportune were Baba's words. Nana Sahib's proposal was overruled by Baba's decree. Mule Shastri of Nashik, an orthodox Agnihotri Brahmin from Nashik, named Mule Shastri, who had studied the 6 Shastras and was well versed in astrology and palmistry, once came to Shirdi to see Mr. Babu Sahib Bhuti, who is the famous millionaire from Nagpur. After meeting him, he went with a few others to see Baba in the masjid. Baba bought various fruits and other things from vendors with his own money and distributed them to the persons present in the masjid. Baba used to press a mango on all sides so skillfully that when any person received it from Baba and sucked it, he got all the pulp at once in his mouth and could throw away the stone and the skin forthwith. Plantains were peeled by Baba and the kernel was distributed to the devotees, while the skins were retained by Baba for himself. Mule Shastri, being a palmist, wanted to read Baba's palm and requested him to extend the same. Baba ignored his request and gave him 4 plantains. Then they all returned to the Vada and Mule Shastri bathed, wore sacred clothes, and started his routine duties. Then Baba, as usual, started further lengthy and said, "Take some jeru, that is, a red substance used to dye clothes, saffron. We shall done saffron today." No one understood what Baba meant. After some time, Baba returned and preparations for the noon arti were being made. Bapu Sahib Jag asked Mule Shastri whether he would accompany him for the arti. Shastri replied that he would see Baba in the afternoon. Very soon, Baba sat on his seat and was being worshipped by his devotees, and the arti commenced. Then Baba said, "Get some dakshina from the new Brahmin." Bhuti himself went to get the dakshina, and when he relayed Baba's message to Mule Shastri, Shastri was sorely perplexed. He thought, "I am a pure Agnihotri Brahmin. Why should I pay dakshina? Baba may be great saint, but I am not his dependent." But a great saint like Sai Baba was asking for dakshina through a millionaire like Bhuti. He could not refuse. So leaving his routine unfinished, he left with Bhuti to the masjid. Thinking himself holy and sacred, and the masjid otherwise, he remained at distance and threw flowers at Baba. Then all of a sudden he saw his late Guru Golap Swami there in place of Baba. He was wonderstruck. Could this be a dream? And how could his late Guru Golap be there? He was speechless for some time. He pinched himself and looked again, but could not reconcile the fact that his late Guru Golap was in the masjid. Ultimately, abandoning his doubt, he went up, fell at his Guru's feet, and then getting up stood there with folded hands. Other people sang Baba's Aarti while Mule Shastri chanted his Guru's name. Then, casting off all pride of caste and ideas about sacredness, he fell flat at his Guru's feet and closed his eyes. When he got up and opened his eyes, he saw Baba asking for dakshina. Seeing Baba's blissful form and inconceivable power, Mule Shastri forgot himself. He was extremely pleased and his eyes were full of tears of joy. He again bowed before Baba and gave him dakshina. He said that his doubts were removed and that he saw his own Guru. On seeing this wonderful Leela, everyone was quite moved and they realized the meaning of Baba's words. "Bring jeru, we shall done saffron today." Such are the wonderful Leelas of Baba. A doctor. Once a Mamaltadar came to Shirdi with a friend who was a doctor. The doctor said that his deity was Rama and that he would not bow before a Muslim, and so he was unwilling to go to Shirdi. The Mamaltadar replied that nobody would press him to bow before Baba, so he should merely come along and provide the pleasure of his company. So they came to Shirdi and went to the masjid to receive Baba's darshan. Everyone was wonderstruck to see the doctor going ahead and bowing before Baba. They asked him how he forgot his resolve and bowed before a Muslim. Then the doctor replied that he saw his beloved deity Rama on the seat, and he therefore prostrated himself before Rama. Then as he was doing this, he saw Sai Baba there again. Rather dismayed, he said, "Is this a dream? How could he be a Muslim? He is a great yoga sampanna, that is full of yoga avatar." The next day he took a vow and began to fast. He absented himself from the masjid, resolving not to go there until Baba blessed him. 3 days passed, and on the 4th day a close friend of his from Khandesh turned up, and he accompanied the friend to the masjid to receive Baba's darshan. After they both bowed before Baba, Baba asked the doctor whether anybody had come to fetch him. Hearing this vital question, the doctor was moved. The same night he was blessed by Baba, and he experienced supreme bliss in his sleep. Then he left for his town, where he experienced the same state for a fortnight. Thus his devotion to Sai Baba increased significantly. The moral of all these stories mentioned above, especially that of Mule Shastri, is that we should have firm faith in our Guru and no one else. More Leelas of Sai Baba will be described in the next chapter. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. This brings us to the end of Sai Satcharitra, chapter 12.